Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast. This is episode 12. I'm your host, as always, Jacob Rice.
And I'm Jared. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
These intros are getting better and better.
Yeah.
So big news week, especially the last couple of days. There's been a few drops over the old Twitter and social media accounts.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one for us is the not confirmed, but like a 90% sure that the new Batman has been cast.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it though.
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't heard, Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame has been more or less certainly connected. It's hard because it's like it's all over Twitter, it's all over all the news feeds.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. Matt Reeves, the director for the Batman, hasn't come out yet and officially confirmed it. But it's more or less set that he will be playing the Batman.
Yeah. I still don't know how I feel about it because I was never really a big fan of Robert Pattinson, mainly because of the Twilight movies.
Yeah,
I didn't really see them all. I saw bits of them. I saw the first one because it was a vampire movie. It wasn't even that good of a vampire movie. But, I never thought I could see him playing, like, a young Bruce Wayne. I don't know if I could see him as Batman. But then again, everybody said that about Ben Affleck. Everyone said that about, like, oh, he was another superhero. How could he be this guy? I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. But I could be wrong. I hope they prove me wrong. That's if he is Batman. It's not decided yet.
I find Robert Pattinson to be a rather wooden actor. Not just from Twilight. I don't know if you remember.
Has he been in anything else?
He was in Harry Potter.
In Harry Potter.
Yeah. He took what is essentially a very well written character and he made him one-dimensional. I don't know if that's writing. I can't place that all on him.
True.
He was in Water for Elephants.
What? What the hell's Water for Elephants?
It was a movie with him and Reese Witherspoon in it, I'm going to say, and it was...
To be fair, if there was a movie with him in it, I probably didn't see it. Like, if he was the main role, I probably wouldn't have seen it. Because I'm not a Pattinson fan.
I mean, it was garbage. Well, it wasn't... It was garbage. I hated it.
Well, I never heard anything about it, so it probably wasn't that good of a movie.
No, it was mediocre. It was...
Yeah.
It's underperformed. It was poorly written, and it's a bad romance movie.
Oh, it was a romance?
It's a romance, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And seeing as he seems to be incapable of displaying any emotion, maybe putting him in a romance movie isn't the greatest choice. So, I mean, that being said, he's definitely proven that he's got the dark and brooding down. But standing there and looking sad isn't quite going to cut it for the Batman.
Well, then again, like
He
probably has acting range that people haven't seen yet. And what was the name of the guy who is directing this Batman?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. He probably saw something in this guy that a lot of people didn't see, and he probably just said, like, you know what, kid, you're gonna be the next Batman or one of the next Batman.
Yeah. Well, he'd said it to it's more or less set because a casting call has been put out for villains. Neither of the villains have been confirmed, but rumor has it that Catwoman and Penguin is going to be the way he goes. I find that's a weird combination, only because it's been done before. And Batman Returns,
Michael Keaton,
which was Michael Keaton. He did the sequel.
Yeah. He was my favorite Batman.
He did a really good job. Danny DeVito did a great job as the Penguin.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. It definitely wasn't Halle Berry levels of complete garbage. I think Anne Hathaway did a good job. I never saw her Dark Knight rendition of
that was pretty
Catwoman.
Cool.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, but I never saw the Halle Berry one.
No.
But what I heard, the special effects and all that kind of crap.
I watched it many years after it came out, and I wish I hadn't. which is saying something really.
Who do you reckon, like, as a Batman villain that we haven't seen yet? And I'm assuming they're going to take like more of a comic book route, like a live action comic book route for it. I've always wanted to see Clayface done
I
right.
was just thinking Clayface.
I reckon Clayface, because the character himself, because my brother has told me so much about the character, because he's a massive, massive comic book fan. Like, he's a massive Batman fan to begin with. So he knows a lot about the character and a lot about the history, and he knows about the character of Clayface.
Yeah.
And from what he's told me, Clayface is a very, is a very tormented, very deep character. Like, he's an actor who was, like, deformed.
Yeah.
And was given, like, this cream that makes him look normal, but it's also really addictive, and he used way too much of it, and it just mutated his skin.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible backstory.
It's a horrible backstory.
Even for a comic book character. Yeah, I'd like to see Clayface. I think if they wanted to do... I know they've been sort of edging towards the darker side of it. I wouldn't mind a Man-Bat.
Oh, Man-Bat.
Like a horror, almost like a horror thriller style Batman film with a Man-Bat.
You could kind of do like a play on, like, the Batman has gone crazy and started killing people, but it's not actually Batman, it's the Man-Bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that I find really, really cool. Then you have the like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side of that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's getting better in comic book movies, but especially like when it started out, you didn't have character depth when it came to villains.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, I'm evil, I'm gonna smash you in the head with a chair or some crap.
Which they kind of touched on in Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. They're
swing and a
edging towards like having deep characters. Like now you've got characters like Loki.
Yeah.
Where you understand his like his motivations as a character. You've got obviously with Endgame having just come out.
Yeah.
Thanos. More so in Infinity War. Because he's got that, like, he's at his goal and he's got, like, he believes that this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Endgame Thanos, for those of you who haven't seen it, I won't go into why, but he's a bit more just overtly aggressive.
Yeah.
But, like, he's battle hardened.
Yeah.
He's, like, a horrible git.
Yeah.
So I think, like, obviously X-Men have always had that Magneto. Like,
Well,
maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing with the character now.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Michael Fassbender's a fantastic actor. And he's done a really good job with what he's been given.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think, like, touching on, like, before, like, giving a villain depth, I think, like, what makes a really good villain is you empathize with the villain.
Yeah.
Like, Thanos I've seen so many articles, so many YouTube videos of, like, why Thanos was the best, is like the best written superhero, like, supervillain.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching Infinity War, I remember watching Infinity War and thinking to myself, shit, maybe he's on something. But then I realized that's genocide.
Yeah.
But besides Thanos, like, Thanos is a good example because he was well written, and you empathize with the character. Same with Loki as well.
Yeah.
You empathize with Loki. I feel like all we talk about is Marvel, but, like, you even empathize with the Joker is another good one. You empathize with him as well. In the comics, like
in the comics, because we've got his backstory and stuff now. Two-Face is another one. Like you've seen you've seen him go from, like, successful to having obviously his split personality problem, and then he gets attacked and he gets deformed, and that's what pushes him over the edge. It's been done in comics for 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's hard to translate that.
Yeah.
But you can see it in other movies as well. Like Kingsman is a comedy.
Yeah.
But Valentine and that, you can see where he's coming from. Again, the same sort of thing with Thanos, where he's like, well, I'm going to mass kill a whole bunch of people because that's what's better in the long run. It's probably not.
Yeah.
But you can see because he's got, like, a justifiable motivation.
Yeah, but he's not doing it like
He's not doing it because
he's like 12
eye
mustache
patch wearing, mustache twirling,
like villain.
Not
it's
joke,
like I'm going to take over the world. It's like, no, I'm doing this to save the world. But he's insane.
Yeah.
Valentine was probably one of my favorite villains because he's like he had the lisp,
Yeah.
And he was like, he's basically if you got rich, if you became rich tomorrow, that's how you would be rich, like
Yeah.
serving McDonald's on a silver platter.
I'd like to see. I know they've sort of half disbanded the DCEU at this point.
The DCEU.
Yeah, the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
They've sort of disbanded it, and they're trying to split them into single. Like solitary franchises, not a joint universe.
Yeah.
To try and I think fix the individual parts and then bring them back together, which is what they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing in the future a big bad like say Darkseid or someone come in as the big bad for a series. But because we'll have had things like Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey and stuff, to have the heroes and the villains
Yeah.
team up to fight Darkseid.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon.
No, I think you're looking at probably like 6 or 7 years.
I mean, if
now.
they didn't jump the gun with the Justice League,
we
movie,
should be getting Justice League next year, not 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, like, but I feel I don't know why everybody has their own reasons why they jumped the gun or anything like that. I honestly could not tell you why they did it, but they must have thought it was going to work. It clearly didn't. Maybe
No.
it's just bad marketing, or someone just had like a bad idea or something like that. I don't know. Someone lost a job.
Well, yeah.
Someone got
the
fired.
problem with that is that 3 of the 6 members that were currently in the Justice League hadn't been introduced yet.
Yeah.
So you've got Wonder Woman had her movie, Batman was in Batman vs Superman, but he requires no introduction anyway.
'Cause it's
And
Batman.
Superman have had two movies.
Yeah.
We'd never seen Aquaman on the big screen before. We'd never seen Flash on the big screen before. We'd never seen Cyborg on the big screen before.
Cyborg was the only one that I actually liked in that movie.
Yeah,
Because
but his origin story is that.
Yeah. Oh, that is his origin story.
Whereas I feel like we just had Aquaman.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good.
Have you seen the animated one?
Yes.
Yeah. That
That's
one's
really
better.
good.
That
Yeah.
one is so much better.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, continue.
the Flash, we haven't got his solo film yet, but it is coming, apparently.
It was supposed to be coming ages ago.
Yeah. Shazam just came out.
That was good.
There's your 7th member of the Justice League, which
Yeah.
I assume is what we were supposed to get, which is why that end credit scene of Superman showing up in the cafeteria is there.
Yeah.
Because that was shot months and months and months ago.
Yeah.
Or before the movie came out. So that kind of makes sense. That would have tied it in. That's Superman coming in and then
Also,
bringing the Shazam family into the Justice League.
I loved Shazam. I
I
thought.
really like to see that.
Yeah.
But that's what it should be. A superhero film should, have serious, like, story bits and, like, stakes and stuff. It should also be lighthearted fun because it's for kids.
Yeah. Yeah. True. I don't know. I just kind of connected with the character of. I didn't connect with it because I hadn't. My backstory is nothing like that. But I have a rough childhood. No, I grew up in the suburbs. I was a chubby white kid. I was fine. But I liked that character. I was never a Shazam fan. I was never a Shazam fan of the comics, but I did like the movie. I should actually read the comics.
Yeah. An interesting business side thought of, like, the business side of stuff. So, Disney has gone out and they bought Fox.
Yeah.
So now they own The Simpsons, Star Wars, National Geographic, Marvel, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
Oh God.
Seeing as they're trying to buy every company in the world,
And they're succeeding at it.
well, yeah, if they go out and they buy Warner Brothers,
Oh God.
and they own hear me out.
Okay.
If they bought Warner Brothers,
Yep.
which means that they would own Harry Potter and the DC movies,
Yep.
do you think we would get an Amalgam Comics movie?
Possibly.
Would you be for that?
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the characters don't translate.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
like, I don't know. It's hard to speculate something like that. But like,
Okay, what
I'd
would
be
you,
open
what would
to
you
it.
like to
I'd
see?
be open to it. When you say amalgam comics, what do you mean?
A few years ago, there was a group of comics that mixed. They merged to a Marvel character and a DC character together.
Oh, to make Batclaw.
And
or
they had
something?
like Batclaw, which is not great.
They did that because they ran out of ideas.
Well, they did it as like a treat for fans. It was like the only time DC and Marvel have ever worked together.
Yeah.
Which I like because I think that was the one where you get, was it Captain America and
Superman.
Superman? I kind of like that.
It's cool, but
Captain.
it's
Superman.
cool on paper. But when you put it into a comic book, it just makes no sense. It's
Yeah,
just,
I know, but like,
it's just, but like I don't know. I did like I think it was called. I think his name was Nightclaw, not Batclaw.
yeah, Nightclaw is the
He
Batman
looked-
and Wolverine.
He looked cool.
Yeah, because he fought was it Hyena, which was a mixture of Sabretooth and the Joker.
Gee, that okay. I would actually read that comic book. That actually sounds pretty awesome.
Have you not read it? It's
No.
really good.
I saw it. I saw like a really beat up version of the comic book in a pawn shop. That was in one day.
That's Pawn, Pawn. I'd like to point out.
What? Okay, why would there be a comic book in a pawn shop?
I don't know. It just seems more likely that you'd be in a pawn shop.
Gross. And true.
Yeah. So, speaking of unlikely team ups,
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft have just signed a streaming contract
Yeah.
together.
That was a good segue. You've had better ones. But that was a good
I've
one.
had, but
You've had better ones.
look, I had to really force that one. So announced yesterday, via the Guardian or some crap like that, Game Radar or something along those lines. Sony and Microsoft signed a deal together to create a joint streaming services for both PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
This raises a lot of questions for multiple consoles.
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that they were going to do it, very little information was released. Because, of course.
Well, they probably thought it was like a good surprise to everybody. It's like, guess what, guys? We're doing this now.
It was a good surprise.
But every single time they've done that, it's kind of been like a, oh shit. I mean, the last surprise they did was making an Xbox, was for Xbox, for example, was they made an Xbox without the tray. So that you have to buy the games online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about that, there's
Yeah.
an article on the website.
Good plug.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
But I feel like this is a good surprise.
It is a good surprise. So they announced the alleged specs for it, which were basically just that they were going to use the OS operating system, for those of you who don't know, for PlayStation Now, that is available in America and not here because our internet's crap.
Yeah.
And they're going to use the Microsoft, I think it was a NVIDIA streaming service or cloud service.
Yeah.
So they're going to use Microsoft because obviously Microsoft own Windows and all that.
Yeah.
So they've got a massive like cloud server.
Yeah.
That obviously is not all being used. Whereas PlayStation are better at video games. They just are. Let's be
Well,
real.
yeah. I mean, like they're so much better at it. I mean,
So, the two major questions that have come up from this is, does that mean the current PlayStation and Xbox exclusives are now going to be non-exclusive, and we're going to get things like we're going to get Halo on the PlayStation, and and Xbox is going to get things like God of War and Spider-Man, things that like maybe not all of the exclusives, but things that are established now, that have already been released,
Yeah.
that have been Game of the Year contenders. Are they now going to be able to be played on the opposite console?
I don't think that, because when you think of Halo, you think Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't think that they'll give that up. I feel like Halo. That's Xbox baby. I feel like they're gonna hold on to that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I see where you're coming from, but if
I mean, it'd be cool to play it
So
on
if-
the PlayStation.
yeah,
But then again, that takes away. If you can play it on the PlayStation, no one's gonna buy an Xbox anymore.
yeah, but if it doesn't matter, so that's the thing. I don't think that
Unless they don't care about how many consoles they sold.
so new games.
Yeah.
Like, say Xbox comes out and they go, well, they have come out and say Halo 6 is coming next year,
Yeah.
right? and that'll be exclusive to the new Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't think that when that game comes out, you'll be able to buy it on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But if you've got a streaming service, and you've got like Halo's 1 to 3 and Reach that came out way back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They're not going to lose anything by letting PlayStation players play that game.
True.
And same for like things like PlayStation, like Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like 1s to 4. Those games came out a couple of years ago. Like the last one came out 2 or 3 years ago now. They're not going to lose any sales by allowing Xbox players to stream it to their console.
I'll tell you, it would be cool. It will be cool, like being able to play Xbox games and
because
stream
that's
Xbox games.
I mean, the other question then, I assume that it's coming, is it's more or less started, is that you'll be able to cross-console game. Things like Apex and Fortnite and Call of Duty will be...
Can't you play Apex on Xbox?
You can play it on Xbox, but not with PlayStation players.
Oh, yeah, now I understand. It's just like connecting. So it's just like,
those games, I assume
connecting.
you'll be able to, cross-platform, I believe it's called.
See, I don't understand why they didn't do that years ago.
Well, Microsoft and Switch did it last year. Last year? Year before? Last year.
But I feel like...
And Sony outright said no. They were like, no, we're not doing that. PlayStation is PlayStation and we're not joining it. 6 months later, they joined.
That just sounds like a kid on the monkey bars who won't let anybody else play with them.
I see where they were coming from, because Xbox and Switch were both looking as for a way forward, and that was Sony going, no, we're the best.
Yeah.
Like, we're the best. We've sold 500 million consoles. We don't need the extra consoles in our...
Yeah, like they didn't
our
want to
circle.
go. They didn't want to go play with the others. They were content playing by themselves.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
to a certain extent,
it
yes,
worked.
but it was the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when people were like, "Oh, I want to play Fortnite with my friends on thing," instead of PlayStation going, "Shut up, you're 12," went, "Oh, yeah, fine, but only for a couple of games."
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if they've signed this contract, that means it will be universal.
Hopefully.
I can't see it not being, and I would assume that means it will cross into Switch cross-platform play if Microsoft is already doing that.
That would, yeah. I was
obviously not for everything, but for like the massive multiplayer games, like
like Fortnite,
like Fortnite,
PUBG, and all that. Kind of
Minecraft,
stuff.
apparently.
Minecraft. Also, I don't see where the fun in Minecraft is. I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but Minecraft. We were playing that the other night, and it just you mine stuff to craft. Like you craft stuff to mine with, and you mine stuff to craft with.
Yeah.
What?
The idea, okay, this is
It's making. I understand. Like if you play creative mode, you can do whatever you want. You can fly. You can do all that kind of crap.
the idea is that there is no limit to what you can do. Like you've seen the online stuff. People have created exact replicas of like Hogwarts and stuff like that, and people who have creative, like their creative minds, enjoy that stuff. Like for us, it's we're messing around and we're doing dumb shit because we're bored. We don't have that crafting sort of view on stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have no interest in building stuff. Like, but then those same people are looking at us going, how do you spend all day every day reading and writing about pop culture? It's just what we do.
It's just what we do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I understand. Like people like the game. People love the game. Like some people have made a career out of playing the game.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the fun in it.
Yeah.
Maybe because I get bored too easily. Like if I'm gonna make a house, it'll take me 2 seconds to make a house, and then I'll just be bored with it. And then if I keep on getting killed by a exploding green dildo, I'm not gonna be I'm not going to enjoy it. Like I was playing it with you and Tom the other night, and then I went to go kill a sheep, and I got killed by a skeleton with a bow and arrow. It's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a cool game, but I just don't see I didn't really enjoy it.
It doesn't personally appeal to me.
I jumped off a cliff to purposely get out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you that? No, I didn't tell you that. Oh, I did.
Huh.
Nah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That was completely off topic. There's going to be no magic segue for this because I honestly don't know how to do it. There have been a few other One really, really cool announcement that I'll talk about in a minute,
Yeah.
and one very, very, very strange announcement that came this morning whilst I was casually scrolling through my Twitter feed.
Nice.
For some reason, I imagine because someone thinks it will make a bucket load of money, they, in 2020, a musical will be released, I believe in Broadway, of a popular movie from our parents' childhood, our childhood as well, in the old 1980s. Back to the Future, the musical.
Why?
Now this is not the first major movie they've turned into a musical.
What else did they do?
Groundhog Day.
Really?
Yeah, all the music for that was written by songwriter and comedian Tim Minchin.
Who the hell's Tim Minchin?
You've never heard of Tim Minchin. You will have heard some of Tim Minchin's stuff. He also wrote some music for Matilda, which they turned into a full musical.
Matilda, I could understand.
A few years ago, I've personally seen this one. The Addams Family got turned into a musical.
Wasn't that always a musical?
No.
No.
It's really, really, really good. So, you don't really go to stage shows much. I'm really into that sort of stuff.
The last stage show I went to was Wicked, and that was years ago.
Which is amazing.
It's a great musical.
Yeah. I am quietly and I'm conservatively confident that this will be pretty good.
Like, I don't understand how they can make Back to the Future look. I mean, Back to the Future itself, like the second one, is really campy.
Yeah.
It's like, when they go to 2015, and there's like hover cars and all this kind of crap, and it just kind of makes you think. Like, you look at that, like 2015 in the movie, and then 2015 in real life, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. There's actually a cool, similar, one of those campy moments in Mortal Kombat 11.
Was it?
Yeah, so there's a scene when Johnny Cage, young Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat 1, with his purple blazer jacket on and his crappy sunglasses on, and he goes, "I don't even believe this is the future. I've been here for an hour and I haven't seen one jetpack." And he's like, "Not one jetpack." And you're like, why is that what you've decided the future is like?
Yeah.
But we do it now. You're like, in 20 years there'll be teleportation and shit. No, there won't be.
No, there won't be.
No.
There could be. There could be teleportation tomorrow.
Yeah,
I still don't know why we use stairs.
I mean, I don't. I use lifts. That's what lifts are for. Now we're getting into, my advanced laziness. So...
Why?
Yeah.
I want travelators everywhere.
So, quickly, just a yes or no. Looking forward to Back to the Future the musical?
God, no.
No? Okay, yeah,
No.
that's fair.
But if we're going to be talking about that, I'm going to quickly say my piece. I don't know how they can make Back to the Future... I don't know how they can make it into a musical. Unless, I can see, a scene on the stage.
3 hours of Johnny Be Good.
Fuck, that would just be pulling out teeth, wouldn't it?
No, I love that song.
I love it. It works great in the movie, but
You won't want to listen to it for 3 hours?
No.
You're a bad person. Yeah, no, I see with you. I don't see how it'll work, but I think that they'll find a way. It depends on who's attached to write the stuff.
Like, if you've never seen the movie, I guess it would probably work if you never saw the movie, if it never interests you.
We're going.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I mean, we have to, but
we do have to. Yeah.
Like, we have to go see this. Next thing you know, they'll be doing Jurassic Park the musical. Don't tell me they're doing that.
No, but I would like to see a.
I want to see.
Hear me out.
Okay.
A T-Rex and a top hat, a monocle, and a walking cane.
Get out of my brain. But I really want to see Kong.
Kong,
the Kong the musical.
Yeah.
Like,
how is that any different to Jurassic Park?
No, it's not. I'm just saying, because the difference is that the giant animatronic
is a monkey, not a dinosaur.
Shut up. Okay, they can turn anything into a goddamn musical these days.
Yeah. On a more serious, it's not so much news, more something that was pointed out to me while I was scrolling through informational shit the other day. And that involves the actress Zoe Saldana.
Oh, yeah.
Avengers fame. Yeah.
This was a cool piece of trivia.
This was a cool piece of trivia. I was really, I was gonna sound really, I was really proud of her. I don't know who she is. Well, I know who she is. I don't know her.
I don't know Zoe.
But it's for things like this. Like I've seen her interviewed. She's like a really cool person, and for this to be attached to her, like she's so. Before we get into all that stuff, and I go on one of my huge tangents, the bit of information that was pointed out to me is that as Endgame rapidly approaches, or possibly at this point has may even passed the 2 billion.
Yeah, I think it's getting close to it.
Anyway. Endgame is almost at the $2 billion mark. If it does, it will make only the 5th movie ever that has ever reached $2 billion. And out of those 5 movies, she's been in 3 of them.
Alright, that's pretty cool.
That is intense.
That's a good payday.
So she has been in Endgame,
yep,
Infinity War, and Avatar.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Assuming that Endgame continues on its current trajectory, by the end of next week, it'll hit $2 billion.
Is that like the latest stats? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Or the last I checked.
Nice.
So obviously I haven't checked them this morning. But that means that she will have been in 3 of the 5 $2 billion movies. Which is insane. Like,
I've seen that on YouTube. There's a lot of people, or YouTube, Reddit, all that kind of crap. There's a lot of people who not necessarily don't want it to reach 2 billion, but like they're very negative on the fact that like it's not going to reach 2 billion. Like we'll get close, but it won't reach 2 billion. Like, why are you being so negative, dude? Just relax. If it's going to reach 2 billion, let it reach 2 billion. Just relax.
I think if this movie doesn't reach 2 billion, then a Marvel movie will never reach it.
I don't know. They still got a lot more to come.
No, because I think like this was the end of the epitome of the first superhero expanded cinematic universe.
Yeah.
If the first major point of that film doesn't hit $2 billion,
yeah,
a superhero film will never hit $2 billion.
Alright, fair enough. Now I really wanted to hit $2 billion.
Yeah, like it will never happen.
I really want to see, with the Spider-Verse, the multiverse theory in Spider-Man,
Far From Home.
In Far From Home, do you think that's true? Or do you think that's?
I think it's fake.
I think it's real. I hope it's real because I want to see, Andrew Garfield and
That'll never happen.
I want to, but I want to see
It'll
that.
never happen.
I want to see the 2 other Spider-Men come back and fight with, the Spider-Man now.
Okay, you're writing fan fiction at this point.
Shut up.
So my thing is this: the mid-credit scene, may confirm an actual multiverse. The multiverse that is in the trailer that everyone has seen, where Mysterio comes in and he goes, "I'm from another universe." There's the snap. So the fact that the snap tore a hole in reality makes sense.
Yeah.
That is the only way they could have introduced this.
Yeah.
Because that's been 2 power surges of universal scale that have never been seen before. Yes, that's going to have like big long-term sciencey effects on stuff.
Yeah.
Mysterio is notoriously a lying piece of shit. His whole shtick is convincing people
is that
stuff that isn't actually happening.
Yeah, true.
And like he's convinced people like Wolverine and Magneto and like people who are famously like untrusting for a start and very, very clever. So yeah, the whole thing is obviously a lie.
I mean, I can dream.
Sorry to ruin it for anyone who has never heard of Mysterio before.
I mean,
but the whole thing is almost definitely a ploy.
Okay. That's just your opinion. My opinion's different. My opinion's right.
I'll hit you.
I know you will.
Yeah, so
I feel like
I'm still looking forward to it.
I feel like I come across as a little bit of a bitch on this podcast.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
That's fine. You are what you are.
You're a dick. You're a dick.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sorry.
Love you, Jacob.
Somebody has to.
Okay. Took it dark.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got about 10 minutes left. Can I talk about Game of Thrones?
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, talk about Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna jump on my phone.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty sure you've already listened to this rant anyway.
Yeah, you probably have.
Game of Thrones fans, you know I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, and that Jared doesn't care at all.
Nope.
But that's fine. There has been a lot of backlash as of the end of episode 5, which came out on Monday. There's another episode coming out. Not tomorrow, the day after, so obviously Monday again. It's set to be like an hour and a half long, which is huge, and it kind of disturbing. I know there's been a lot of backlash, and some people are confused as to why there has been this level of backlash. The reason behind it is, for those of you who haven't worked it out, is it's the same stuff that's been happening for 7 seasons, but it's empty. Like, there's no motivation and there's no reason behind it. So,
were the White Walkers as big of a deal as I thought they would be?
No.
No.
And I ranted about that on one of the previous podcasts, that they wasted it because they felt like they were running out of time. We're 2 episodes on from that now.
Yeah.
And it still feels like they are rushing everything because they gave themselves a time limit. Because they came out and they went, oh, it's definitely only going to be one more season. So it feels like they've come out and they've gone, there's only 1 season left, this is the final season.
Yeah.
And then they've got halfway through writing it and they've gone, oh shit, we need 2 seasons. Which has kind of ruined it. And in episode 5, it's called The Bells. So, like, you have episode 3, you had the big White Walker fight, and then episode 4 was really good, lots of character development, like, lots of setting up, and then episode 5 is another big battle where they take King's Landing. There will be spoilers from this point on. There's a few deaths, obviously, of characters in the last couple episodes, because it's Game of Thrones.
Is Peter Dinklage dead yet?
No.
Okay.
They feel wasted.
Explain.
There is a character called Varys. He's been in it since the beginning, and he's always been this behind-the-scenes character. And for like the first 4 or 5 seasons, you didn't know whether or not he was like manipulating people to try and gain power. What was happening? And it turns out he was manipulating people, but his sole purpose was the benefit of the people of King's Landing, because nobody else cares about the people. They only care about their own personal ambition.
And the Iron Throne.
And he's highly intelligent.
Yeah.
And he's sneaky. And then obviously you find out that Jon Snow's a Targaryen and that he's the actual rightful heir to the throne.
Wait, what?
I'm not explaining 7 years of lineage to you. It's fine. But yeah, so you find out that he's actually his mother, who is Ned Stark's sister, got married in secret to the actual king and had a kid, and that's Jon Snow. Anyway, so he's the king.
Okay.
He's the rightful king. Jon doesn't want it.
Right.
He's actively said he doesn't want to be king. For some reason, Daenerys seems to think that he's a threat, even though everyone who goes, you know you could be king, right? And he goes, I don't want to be king, because I'm Jon Snow, I just want to ride my dog into battle and shit, which is not done. But yeah,
dog in the battle.
he has a dire wolf. It's a giant wolf.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. Anyway, Varys goes up to, he gets told that Jon's the rightful heir, and he goes, well, the dragon lady's getting a bit fucking crazy, so maybe we should, not put her in charge of the entire country. And then he goes to Jon and he's like, oh, you've noticed how she's going a bit, mental. How about you be king? And he goes, well, I don't want to be king. And then Tyrion, who I loved up to this point, who's stopped being like smart and outspoken and just started being like a cowardly little shit, goes up to the Dragon Queen and goes, blah blah blah. Anyway, they killed Varys, and he didn't even like argue back or anything. He was just like, well, I hope you're right.
Well, shit.
But like, he didn't display any of his defining character traits.
Mm.
And then like,
So from what you're telling me right now is that they're just kind of like,
They're killing off characters because they don't know how to end the story.
yeah,
But death isn't the only way to end a character story arc. And like, there was a few deaths where I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And then they finally, so the dragon, they win the fight in like the first half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the Dragon Queen goes crazy, which is unjustified craziness. It's not like, so the whole thing is like, they're saying if they surrender, stop
yeah,
killing everyone. Yeah, that's a pretty justifiable thing to ask for.
yeah,
Which is fine. And you think, like, if she was going to go full mental on, like, destroy the city, it was because they were losing.
yeah,
They win in fairly spectacular and easy fashion. And then they ring the bells and they surrender. And they all drop their swords. And then she just goes, bugger it. And just, like, takes off with the dragon and just starts destroying the city anyway. And you're like, there was nothing up to that point that made you think, yeah, she'll kill a whole bunch of people for no reason.
yeah.
And then, like, they finally killed Cersei and her brother. Brother boyfriend, I believe is how I put it in the article that will be coming out on Tuesday.
Brother boyfriend.
Brother boyfriend.
Gross.
Yeah. It's Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Brothers have sex with sisters in this show.
Yeah, and, so they escape the collapsing castle, whatever, and they get down to the tunnel where there's supposed to be a secret exit, but the exit has been caved in.
Yeah.
And then they have this big emotional moment where, like, she's crying and he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing else matters, and then they all die. Except, it's a really good ending for him, because, like, dying for her has basically been what he's about since Day Dot.
Yeah.
But she has spent the last 4 seasons becoming a hardened, evil cow with, like, no emotion, who doesn't care what happens to her or anyone else, and she just goes, and she starts crying. I just think that ruins the character. And again, it's like, there were other ways to do that.
I don't know. I mean, like, the way, like, from what I'm hearing right now is that they just, you're right, they gave themselves a time limit, and I think they needed one more season, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and they had all these characters, and it's just like, oh shit, what do I do with them now?
Yeah, there are 2 episodes left.
They couldn't just form an alliance or something?
Well, that's... Yeah, they tried... I don't know. It's like they half-formed an alliance and then they broke it apart almost immediately.
Nice.
It's
Government.
it's wasted time. It really... Like... There's 2 episodes left. I know how it should end. There are a couple ways I would be happy with it ending. But having seen what's happened, I know it won't.
Well, that's confusing for me, but I trust your judgment.
At this point,
Yeah.
it should end with Jon Snow on the throne.
I mean,
That's the way it should end. Like,
Yeah.
and I know people are going to go, oh, but it's Game of Thrones and that's like a happy ending. It's not a happy ending because he doesn't want to be king, but he is the only person who could do it.
Yeah.
Like, because he's a good person, people trust him. He's got honor, all that crap. So if him being king is not a win for him.
Yeah.
So I think that the whole point of, like, Game of Thrones, I think the famous line was, you either win or you die.
Oh yeah,
From the very first episode of the first season.
The game of Thrones is you win or you die.
Yeah.
I only know that because it was in Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, but, like, it's... Because he's not trying to win the Game of Thrones, he's the only one who should be put on the throne. Right? I would be happy with a few of the under characters, like maybe Tyrion, though I have a funny feeling he's going to die in the next episode.
Yeah.
Which I called, by the way, second last episode. I would be happy with either of the Stark sisters sitting on the throne. I'd be kind of okay with that. Or even there's like a one character, for those of you who watched it, what's his name? Gendry Baratheon, who is the bastard son of the king from the first season.
Oh yeah.
So if they put him on the throne, I'd be okay with that. I have a feeling they're gonna put Daenerys on the throne because that is an unhappy ending, and it's Game of Thrones. If they do that, I'll be pissed off. I thought if they do that, they've ruined the credibility of all 8 seasons.
I'd like it if they had a happy ending.
Yeah, I feel like because it's not been happy ending through all the seasons. It's been like good guys take a hit, like hit after hit after hit, like deaths of all of our favorite characters.
Yeah.
To get the one person from like the first season to sit on the Iron Throne at the end, I think is how it has to end.
Yeah.
I have a funny feeling they won't.
Well, you could be wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because at least then, even though this season was mediocre,
Yeah.
the rest of it was worth
I
something.
hate how like they built
They
it
got
up.
so close.
They built up the last season to be like its endgame type of status.
It
at
should
this
have
point.
been, yeah.
But from what I'm hearing from everybody that I know who watches it, they just say it started off really good, but it got really shit really quick.
Yeah, like even like I really enjoyed the last season. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I just feel like they've dropped it for this one, and
Yeah.
it really upsets me. And it actually worries me because these guys are supposed to be taking over a Star Wars film in 2020.
Well, the thing is, like,
And you're like, you did a really good job then, but if you do this to Star Wars, I'll have to find you.
yeah, but think about it. These guys have done what 7 other seasons of
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Just because they made one bad season, that doesn't define who they are as filmmakers. If they
Think-
had a different format,
Okay. The only justification for this is,
yeah,
right, seasons 1 to 7,
yeah.
books were released.
Oh,
This is the only season they've done where they don't have a book to follow a story off. So this is the only time where they've had to write their own story, and it's crap.
oh crap.
Which makes me think that maybe they're great directors and not great writers.
So they wrote this.
They wrote, so with George R.R. Martin, apparently they got to pick.
But you think George R.R. Martin would be?
No, because
there-
he's trying to write the book at the same time. So he's an associate, he's not a writer.
Oh.
So he's writing the book at the moment, and apparently the book has got a different ending, and he came up with a couple of endings and let them pick one,
Yeah.
and they've clearly picked the worst one, I hope. But yeah, anyway, that's going into a bit of a rant. An article will be released on that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Should we do a review
go
on
and
the
read
last
that.
episode?
I will do. Obviously, because you don't watch it, I'll do a full season review after the last episode.
All right. I'll help you write it, but I don't know how much I can help you on it.
Yeah, so I'll do a full review on that. Obviously that's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
That's fine. For those of you, because we'll cut it here. I just got a few things to plug.
Yeah.
Self-righteously.
Self-righteous.
Movie of the week, which I'm now trying to remember to do every week. This week, obviously, because John Wick 3 has come out, go and watch the original John Wick.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It has it redefines the martial arts action genre. It's almost as revolutionary as I'd say The Raid.
The Raid.
The Raid is a Thai martial arts movie. If you haven't seen it,
Oh,
you should go and watch that
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It's
I watched
fantastic.
that a while ago.
It's really, 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 really good. So go and watch John Wick because it's fantastic. If you haven't seen The Raid, go and watch that as well, and then go and check out John Wick 3, Parabellum. It's out this week. It's out now, so
Found
go and
out.
watch it.
I looked up Parabellum.
Yeah,
It means prepare for war.
yeah, it does.
That is awesome. So it's
Yeah.
John Wick 3, prepare for war.
Yeah.
So you definitely know there's going to be a fourth one.
No, apparently this is the end because Keanu Reeves said he didn't want to do any more than 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
he said so. They wrote a 3-movie story arc, which apparently ends here. I don't know how it ends. Luckily, apparently it redefines everything though. Like it's like the best action movie that's been made this decade.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive, seeing as we're at the end of it.
No, I completely agree. John Wick, and go see it. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad, but I really hope it's going to be good. And from what I've heard, it's fucking awesome.
For those of you who missed it, we did a live stream of Mortal Kombat 11. There were a few technical problems, but that's fine. We did it earlier this week. Those are now, the clips are available on Twitch.
Yep.
So obviously just go and look for us with Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions. If you go to our new YouTube channel, it's also available there for you to watch. We did Mortal Kombat 11 on, I'm going to say Monday or Tuesday. I can't quite remember. Probably should have written that down. And earlier today, we did a Hitman live stream.
Yep, we did.
So that will also be available on YouTube and Twitch. Go check it out, and then get your ass into the comment section and let us know if you liked it.
Yes.
We're going to do more. We're trying to get more and more live streams going as we move forward, because we really want to do Borderlands 3.
Yes.
Which I believe we now have a team of 4, which pairs
You, me.
Tom, which people will know,
Yeah.
and Sadistics, otherwise known as Luke, who I work with and also does live streams. He's a massive Borderlands fan, and he's on board too.
Nice.
So we have a full team of 4 for that. That comes out on the 13th of September.
Nice.
So I imagine that weekend we'll do part 1. Pretty keen for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, go and check out Hitman 1, where I play it like a boss, and Jared plays it like shit. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, keep it real.
Keep it real, guys.